Big travel day, headed for Texas. Night in Tucson, night in Las Cruces, and a night in Pecos, Texas, and then we'll be at our final destination. All right. Gonna miss the desert, gonna miss Arizona. Quartzsite was a blast. Onward to new locations and new adventures. Dust storm outside of Tucson.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder.
Day 2 of our journey to Texas. Woohoo! So I don't care how many times you hook up and you think that everything's just, you got it. You know, this part we got down. Invariably something is gonna throw a wrench into things. Valuable lesson though, if your front is, so yesterday when we backed in, leveling side or the back was, we didn't have to level the back. All 4 areas on the back were level. The front, however, was lower than the back on one side, higher than the back on the other side, so the front was completely unlevel. Well, what we didn't realize is, you know, pulling or trying to hitch this morning, it was so unlevel, so I would have it lined up and Scott would back in and the hitch wouldn't connect. And
back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know how many attempts we made. But what we finally realized was that he had to literally get just inches from the hitch connecting, and then I had to recheck it because we would be lined up and the ground was so unlevel right there in the front that by the time he got back to the hitch, we were too far off to the left or too far off to the right or too high or too low. So we had planned on getting out at 10. It's 11:15. So,
but
lessons learned.
We're on the road.
And we were patient with one another.
We got compliments from the neighbors.
Yes, about how patient we were. We had an audience again, but that's okay. He said he was commiserating with us. It just, some things get easier, but you can't take anything for granted.
Nope.
But an easy drive yesterday, no issues.
Nope.
We stayed at Pima County Fairgrounds. It's a nice campground.
It's decent.
But your power.
And there was an RV show today.
There was. We didn't go. The issue with this campground is that your power source is pretty far away from, well, us, because some rigs, their power is in the back. Ours is in the middle of the rig.
Right.
And it's shared power pole between you and the campsite to your left. So we've got, what, 85 feet with our extension?
No, I have to, it's like 45 feet is what comes with the rig, with the Brinkleys. And then previously we had an issue where we had a length to get to the pole. So I think I picked up another 20 feet. That still wasn't...
It was not enough.
Still wasn't enough, so we had to kind of go in kind of cockeyed and avoid the tree and...
Oh, well, we still had some tree connection, just light branches, so... but yeah, we were kind of crooked in the campsite and way backed in, and it just barely reached. I noticed that because I thought, if we were in the campsite next to us, which was empty all night, nope, because then you would have to run your power cord underneath your rig and just as far away. So that's just something to be mindful of. If you are ever going to stay at Pima County Fairgrounds, you better make sure you've got plenty of power cord.
Yeah.
If your power connection is in the middle of your rig. If it's in the rear, not an issue. So, all right.
And as you can tell, what highway we're on the infamous Highway 10, bouncing around everywhere. So
this road is rough.
It's a little rough.
Okay, on to New Mexico for tonight's day. So we left Quartzsite yesterday. Had a blast. Had a great time in Quartzsite.
Great time.
If you know anything about Quartzsite, you've heard the stories. Stock up on groceries before you get there. There's not a huge selection. There's not a lot of grocery stores, and the prices are higher. But there's little to no produce, so you can find some things. Like there was salad mixes and stuff like that. Fruit. I'm a big fruit person. I would eat fruit with every meal. There was really not a lot of options for fruit. There was some apples. I think we saw oranges one day, bananas early in the week, but then they were out of bananas. And the grapes didn't look very good. Strawberries one day, but then those were out. So we got to Tucson yesterday, got the rig parked and set up, ran to Walmart to just get some staples for lunch to pack our lunch today, and wanted healthy items because we tried to do that in Quartzsite, and there was not a lot of options for healthy items. So we walked into Walmart, and we just happened to walk in the grocery part, and of course produce is first, and we both just stopped, and it was like the angels were. It was, oh my God, look at all the fruit. Look at all the vegetables. Look at all the produce. So I stocked. And even Scott, who's not a big fruit person, he'll eat an apple pie sometimes, or a piece of apple pie, but he just doesn't really eat fruit. And even Scott was in awe of all the fruit.
Sure.
But who knew produce could elicit such joy? Okay, day 3 of our trip to Texas.
It was one for the story, that's for sure.
It was a rough night last night. We stayed in a campground that was a little on the, would you say, sketchy side?
Yeah, considering this morning.
I believe I found it on Allstays, and it didn't look bad on Allstays. Of course, Scott Googled it yesterday at one of our stops, and it had some bad reviews. It was a motel RV park right off of I-10 in Los.
The motel's being refinished and renovated. Yeah,
I don't think so.
That's what their website said.
Oh, okay. It's the motel is like, when we pulled in the parking lot, we almost just left. It's in really rough shape. Really, really rough shape. The RV park.
It was level.
It was, yes. It was level. See, look at you looking at the positive side. We didn't really have any issues, but
noise.
Lots of noise till there. So when we booked it, they just said, okay, we've got your name on here. No confirmation. No payment. When we got there yesterday, we got there at what, 3:30, something like that, 4 o'clock, and the office door was locked and closed, and there was nobody in there. There's a doorbell, so I rang the doorbell 3 or 4 times, and nobody came. So I got back in the truck, and we called them, and they said, oh, yeah, we'll be right there. Like they didn't know somebody was checking in. And it took a really long time for Scott to get checked in. No rules. We did get a receipt.
Well, they told me that one of the sites, one of the terminals from somebody's power cord broke off inside the outlet,
and it may or may not work.
So they sent somebody out there, and and they said, looks good. There's nothing in it. You get your choice. You can pick either one of these two.
3 or 9.
So okay, so we drove in.
9 was on the end. We thought, well, we'll stay on the end. And fortunately, we tested the power before we unhitched, and our surge protector lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So you want green. Green's good. Any red in that is not good.
Yep, so it was the polarity was reversed, and having reversed polarity plugged into my rig would have not been a good thing.
So then we moved to 3, which looked like it was, well, everybody was using it as a driveway, a shortcut through the RV park. So I think we irritated some people. There was trees. Scott had to break off some small branch. They were small. They were they were more twigs, but it didn't matter how far we moved over. The tree was an issue, but we were level.
Yep.
Clotheslines with clothes hanging on them.
Broken down cars.
A lot of broken down cars. The vast majority of the rigs had clearly been there for decades, a decade. Rough shape.
The neighbor next to us they were here. He's been here. He's a full timer at that site, I guess.
And a college student.
And he was here for the big freeze that happened here a few weeks ago, and some of his pipes broke. So he just had his water pouring out. It was just leaking out.
Our site was all wet. We got in, got set up, decided to go get something to eat, watch the rest of the
Chiefs.
The Chiefs and the Bills. Anyway, we got home, I don't know, 8-ish. There was another rig that had pulled into one site. They'd been there for a while. Clearly that site something was not working with that site, so he pulled into 9 then, and we already know what happened with 9. And then there was yelling and screaming and horn honking, and then this was after the game, so we don't know if it was a firework that somebody let off because the Chiefs won, or it really sounded like gunfire. So we just waited, turned the lights off, and waited for the police to show up. They never did. But there was no quiet hours. Helicopters all night. I'm assuming...
Not for the campground, but all around the town.
I'm thinking it's because we're so close to Juarez.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know for sure, but people partying, cars, loud cars, leaving, even at 2:30 in the morning I woke up, and the neighbor behind us had guests, and they would come and they would knock on the door, and then it would wake me up, and I would think, oh, somebody's at our door. They're outside talking till all hours of the morning. So it was just a rough night. And then this morning, first of all, the speed bumps, we'd already heard reports, review that there's double speed bumps, and one of them is huge, leaving the RV park. And somebody said that it busted their jacks. So I walked Scott over that. It was close, but we cleared it barely with our jacks. As we were pulling out, literally as we're pulling out, 2 police cars come speeding in
front of us, kidding.
Into the lot. Yep. One going one direction, one going the other. They just kind of surrounded the building. We didn't see we didn't stay to see where they were going.
We're out.
We left. So I wouldn't recommend it. We've stayed in cheaper places that were way nicer. So it wasn't bad. It was $31, I think, a night for full hookups and a level site. And we had no issues other than I didn't get any sleep. Scott clearly If it's too quiet, Scott can't sleep. He's up all night. If there's helicopters and loud vehicles and people talking right outside our bedroom,
I didn't hear it.
that's what he needs for sleeping.
But I was up at 4:30. Great.
All right, I am leaving a review. I was going to do it this morning and thought, no, let's get out of the campground first before we leave that review. So there's something that we were unprepared for.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Apparently, because we've been running along the border since right before we crossed over into Texas, we have to stop at the Border Patrol inspection station. We didn't know that.
Nope.
Don't know what to expect. If they ask for Finn's shot records, they are in the rig. We don't have those in the truck. I have grapes with me, and we have a half a tomato in the rig. So wish us luck.
No RVs in there, right?
I didn't see anything about RVs. I just saw trucks.
Stay to the right to Border Patrol inspection station.
That was way easier than we thought it was going to be.
Yep, we worked ourselves up a little bit.
Yep. I was worried if I didn't have Finn's shot records, and I have grapes in my bag, and the dog sniffed our vehicle. Apparently he didn't sniff anything of concern. The Border Patrol agent said, "Good morning, sir. Is everyone a U.S. citizen in the vehicle?" We said yes, and he said, "Have a great day," and flagged us through. So, there we go.
Easy as cake.
Didn't even have to show our driver's licenses. Dreary day in Pecos, Texas, at the Escapees RV Park. It's gonna be cloudy, potentially rainy most of the day, but it's the last leg of this 4-day trip, and we are anxious to get there and not have to move again for a few weeks. Okay, day 4, final travel days, off to a rough start. Really rough start.
Oh, shoot.
So, if you're contemplating doing a full-time RV lifestyle, you probably don't want to watch the rest of this video because this might discourage you. I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but in planning our route, we always save the longest stretch for the last day. So we needed to get out early this morning because we have a 6-hour drive. We never do 6 hours. We have a 6-hour drive today. We're exhausted and got all set up, all ready to go. Hadn't hooked up yet. Scott realizes the rear tire on one of the rear tires in the truck is low. So we had to drive down the street, which fortunately was just on the street, to a tire center. They checked it. They filled us up. They put new
They put new stem plugs.
Yeah,
Tire plugs.
on for some reason. I didn't ask.
Somebody must have walked off with them or something.
We go back to the campground, got hooked up, pulled out. The road leading out to the highway was lots of speed bumps, and just kept going. Got on the highway, we're maybe a mile down the highway, and some truck pulls up beside us. He's flagging us over. We pull off the road.
First time I've pulled off on the highway.
Oh my gosh, on the side of the highway, and really the shoulder was not very big. Fortunately, the guy stopped, and he kind of stood there to kind of shift traffic over. We didn't pull the front jacks up all the way.
They were up mostly, but
not all the
completely.
way. No, I wouldn't even say mostly. I'm pretty sure we hit, but Scott said they don't look bent or anything.
No.
Wow, just wow. Wow.
Well, here we go.
Okay, last day. Please let that be the only events we encounter today. Got to keep an eye on this truck tires. Make sure we don't continue losing air pressure. We didn't get anything on the truck though. The truck didn't
No, we have
indicate
no
that
air- no
the tire
indicators.
pressure was low. So I'm gonna focus all my energy on a smooth continuation of our travel today.
Send us some good karma.
Yeah, we might be setting up in this park after dark. We needed to be out early. It's 10. That's not early. All right, we're in Grand Prairie, Texas. Look at our cute site here. We're not exactly straight, but that's okay. Look at this cute little, we got a little covered picnic shelter with a grill. Oh my gosh, we have a fire pit. And it's warm. It's not bad at all. There's a little fire pit here. Look at this shelter. Oh, I'm so excited. So we're here for 2 weeks. I might extend this because I really like this place a lot. A lot. Back up to these woods.